What's happening, everybody? Some NFL Week 4 reaction, and the marquee game clearly on Sunday was two of the AFC standard bearers, really, of this conference for basically, I'd say, the last 5 or 6 years, the Ravens and the Chiefs. And I thought this was going to be a competitive game. I really did. Little did I know, the Kansas City Chiefs, yes, I understand that they were home. They got Xavier Worthy back. Their offense has been looking better. The Chiefs won 37-20. 37-20. I get it. They're the Super Bowl champions. Or the former Super Bowl champions. They were the Super Bowl runner-ups this last year. The Eagles won. Sorry for you Eagles fans if you got offended with me saying that. Forgetting that you won the championship. Patrick Mahomes goes for 4 touchdowns. The Ravens were never really in this game. This was not competitive. This is stunning to me. A team that is based around defense and a team that had a 15-point lead in week 1 on the road at Buffalo is now sitting at 1-3, and their only win this season is against a Cleveland Browns team that is offensively inept and actually held them to under 50 yards rushing and, held them relatively in check and outgained them. Where's the reason for optimism with the Ravens? And I did not have this on my bingo card through the first month of the season, that the Ravens are sitting at 1-3 with the same exact record as the Cleveland Browns and looking pretty much hopeless. The Chiefs, who looked offensively challenged for a large chunk of the season, outgained the Ravens. The Ravens give up 382 yards. Time of possession was almost by 10 minutes. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable. Lamar Jackson only has 147 yards passing in this game. I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm going to get you guys the schedule in a second. I did not think I'd be sitting here on September 28th on my 36th birthday. First of all, I am grinning from ear to ear because fuck the Ravens. I've hated this organization. I respect them, but I've hated this organization because they took away my football team 20 years ago. Or 30 years ago. They took my franchise away 30 years ago. I'm losing track of years. What year is it? It's 2025. They took it away in 1995. So 30 years. This was, to me, I thought after that Buffalo game, I was like, man, these two teams are going to be maybe the Ravens go on a tear. They've been a second half team and they started off slow last year, but I did not have this on my bingo card that in the span of 6 days, they would give up 37 and 38 points. Good news for them is, hey, they play the Texans next, and the Texans are not good. Then they play the Rams. Both those are at home. They get three games at home. So then you get the Bears. Bears aren't very good. You're at Miami. You're at the Vikings. And you're at the Browns. Some of the schedule is not very imposing. They may be able to figure this out at some point. But the fact that the Ravens are at 1-3, I have really legitimate questions if this team is as good as I thought they were. Because you look at this now, they're 1-3, and in the span of 6 days, they've lost to 2 teams that they're considered on the same playing field as, and surrendered almost 100 points to them, or surrendered 70 some odd points, 37 and 38 points. So if you're a Ravens fan, you got to be concerned, man. I know a lot of people are getting tired of John Harbaugh, but yes, I understand that the Chiefs' defense is decent, but 37 points to a Chiefs team that really wasn't scoring that much. I get they get some weapons back, but this is a head scratcher, man. And considering how good they looked in week 1 and to where they are now, like I said, their one win this season is against a Cleveland Browns team that outgained them. And if not for some turnovers and some bad offensive play, the Browns could have beaten them. Yeah, it was 41-17? Still, that game wasn't nearly as bad as it looked. It wasn't. So, man, I'm starting to wonder if this Ravens team and this, run of success that they're on is, maybe a little bit of a mirage, because I just don't know how you as a defense with Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton and all these studs on defense. And then, you have Lamar Jackson, who's been the MVP of this league, really 2 out of the 7 seasons that he's been in the league, and could have easily won it last year. Is this Ravens team good? Or are they just, or did we just colossally overrate them? Because to me, great, Chiefs won. Sure, they were at home. The big red flag here is the fact that the Ravens have been dominated the last 2 weeks by a Lions team in their own house, walked in there and beat them. And then they get their butts kicked by 17 points against the Chiefs team that they've been considered on the level playing field for the last, 4 or 5 years. These have been 2 of the preeminent organizations, not just in the AFC, in the entire NFL. And normally we haven't been worried about the Ravens in the regular season. It's going to come down to what they do in the postseason. And I looked at their schedule. Their schedule is not that daunting, at least the rest of the way. They could figure this out, and they could find a way to go 14-3. They're probably not going to do that, but to be sitting at 1-3 to start this season with, the 3 best teams on your schedule that you face, you blew a 15-point lead on the road. You got owned at home by the Lions, and then you got your butts absolutely tattooed by a Chiefs offense that has not been playing well through the first month of the season. If I'm a Ravens fan, I know a lot of people within the NFL are probably going to look at this and be like, what the fuck did we miss? Because the defense is not playing at the level that it has in the last few years. And I understand, a lot of the people within their organization, like, Mike McDonald's a head coach, they're not the same defense that they were. So is it personnel? Has Lamar Jackson been figured out finally by the league? I don't know what there is to really gauge out of this, but like I said, they started slow again. And it's almost like you have to wonder, did the Bills break the Bills break the Ravens as an organization? I get it. They beat the Browns. They've always beaten the Browns. So what? The Browns aren't good. They're good on defense, but they're not good on offense. If you watch the game against the Lions on Sunday, they're terrible offensively. A lot of things going wrong there. But again, 3 biggest games in their first 4 weeks of the season. Buffalo lost. Lions lost. Chiefs lost. So you're looking down at the schedule. They got Texans next week. That's at home. They should beat them. Rams at home. Should beat them. But who knows? The Rams are a tough organization. Bears, Caleb Williams is getting better. Who knows? You're at Miami. Miami's not very good. You're at Minnesota. Minnesota, pretty well-coached team. You're at the Browns. That's a rivalry game. That should be interesting. Jets suck. Bengals, no Joe Burrow. Steelers, who knows? That's always a crapshoot. And the Steelers might be better than I thought they were. Bengals, again, no Joe Burrow. Maybe he's back in December. Patriots, Packers, and Steelers down the stretch of the season. Is this team a playoff team? Schedule looks pretty easy, but it's like, hey, they've been pushed around through the first 4 games. Could we be heading towards a really disappointing season in Baltimore? Who knows? Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.